a prehistoric man was found with 790 shark bite wounds covering his skeleton. Scientists confirmed they weren't inflicted after death. He experienced every single one. The ocean has been perfecting ways to kill us for millions of years, and we're about to dive into its most horrifying methods. From the teenager whose bones revealed she died screaming from jellyfish venom, to submarine crews who tapped, "Is there any hope?" while slowly suffocating, to an entire ship's crew found with faces frozen in positions of pure terror. What I'm about to show you will forever change how you look at the water. In 2013, the sea around the Faroe Islands turned blood red as 430 dolphins were herded into shallow water. What happened next was called the most disturbing organized marine massacre in modern history. But nature's methods are even more brutal. When oceanographers discovered what looked like mineral formations near deep-sea vents, they were shocked to find they were actually human remains. Sailors who fell overboard into 750-degree Fahrenheit water simultaneously boiled alive and fossilized into stone. These aren't stories. These are documented cases that marine scientists still struggle to explain. The ocean doesn't just kill you. Sometimes it transforms you into something else entirely. The ancient man who brought 790 wounds to his grave. Let's start at the surface where most ocean deaths occur. The Jomon hunter-gatherer from Japan's Seto Inland Sea, nicknamed Specimen 24, suffered what researchers call the oldest documented shark attack in history. Analysis revealed this unfortunate individual had his chest and abdomen completely eviscerated, every rib fractured, and multiple limbs severed, including both feet and one hand. But here's what shocked researchers most. The attack pattern, particularly on the left leg, suggested a classic ambush, likely from a tiger shark or great white. What's fascinating is that he wasn't found at sea, but in a traditional burial site, suggesting others witnessed the attack from a fishing boat and recovered what remained of his body. And here's where it gets really interesting. Tooth fragments found in the region, along with Jomon artwork depicting sharks, indicate these predators were far more common in Japanese waters 3 millennia ago, making such deadly encounters a genuine occupational hazard for ancient fishermen. The shark that learned to hunt humans. More recently, the 1916 New Jersey shore shark attacks that later inspired the movie Jaws claimed 5 victims within 2 weeks. The most documented case, Charles Van Sant had his femoral artery severed while swimming in full view of horrified beachgoers. Medical records show he lost over 60% of his blood volume from a single precisely targeted bite, demonstrating a level of predatory intelligence researchers hadn't previously recognized in sharks. Now, here's what makes this case different from any other shark attack in history. Later, analysis confirmed the same individual shark was responsible for all 5 attacks, showing evidence of learned behavior targeting humans specifically. This wasn't random predation. This was a shark that had developed a taste for human prey. What's more disturbing is what they found in the shark's stomach when it was finally caught. The teenage girl killed by invisible fire. Moving from surface horrors to ancient mysteries, the ocean has preserved some truly nightmarish deaths. In 2018, underwater caves in Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula yielded the preserved remains of a teenage girl dated to approximately 13,000 years ago. Her bones showed unique deterioration patterns consistent with box jellyfish toxicity, one of the most potent venoms known to science, capable of killing within minutes. But here's the part nobody expected. Specialized proteins bound to her bone tissue match the signature of Chironec's fleckery venom, suggesting she experienced full cardiovascular collapse, while feeling pain so severe it would have caused immediate shock. And what researchers discovered next changed our understanding of ancient rituals. Her remains were found in a ceremonial position, surrounded by offerings indicating her community recognized something extraordinary about her death, potentially creating early taboos about certain marine creatures. The Massacre Islands, where cetaceans scream from natural ocean deaths to human cruelty. Let me take you to what many scientists call the most horrific organized marine slaughter on Earth, the Faroe Islands Grindadrap, or simply the Grind. But what makes this particularly disturbing isn't just the killing itself. In August 2013, the sea literally turned red when 135 long-finned pilot whales were driven into Husavik Bay. On the very same day, in Hvalba, an astonishing 430 Atlantic white-sided dolphins were massacred in what locals call Whale Bay. Here's what the tourism websites don't tell you. During the July 2010 hunt in Klaksvik, 228 pilot whales were forced onto a beach designed to hold only 100. As darkness fell, the resulting chaos created a 2-hour bloodbath where wounded whales thrashed in panic while waiting to be killed. But the most savage incident happened in Fuglafjordur when something went terribly wrong. In July 2013, a pod of 267 pilot whales was driven into the bay, but only 4 men were available to kill them. For over 90 minutes, these intelligent mammals were held with boat engines and blowhole hooks, their panic and vocalizations clearly audible to witnesses, until each one could be slaughtered. What makes this practice even more senseless is the shocking truth that emerged in 2008. That's when Faroese chief medical officers announced that pilot whale meat contains such high levels of mercury, PCBs, DDT derivatives, and dioxins that it's unsafe for human consumption. Despite official warnings against eating it, most of the meat is simply discarded, literally thrown back into the ocean, creating underwater graveyards of rotting whale carcasses. And here's what makes this case study unique compared to other ocean deaths in our series. This isn't about the ocean killing humans. It's about humans imposing unimaginable suffering on ocean creatures through ritual rather than necessity. The Grindadrap represents how the relationship between humans and the sea is often based on domination rather than understanding. A theme that connects directly to why so many human deaths occur in marine environments. The divers who boiled from the inside out. Ancient diving claimed countless lives in particularly horrific ways. When archaeologists excavated the famous Antikythera mechanism shipwreck, they discovered human remains telling a nightmarish tale of ancient diving gone wrong. One skeleton showed evidence of extreme compression and deformation, the signature damage of decompression sickness. But the evidence revealed something even worse than anyone imagined. This diver would have been lowered on weighted ropes into crushing depths, only to experience excruciating pain as nitrogen bubbles formed in his blood during ascent. His bones revealed microscopic fractures consistent with violent convulsions while trapped underwater, dying slowly as his nervous system failed. What makes this discovery truly haunting is what it tells us about ancient diving practices. Even more disturbing, researchers found evidence that such fatalities were commonplace, with ancient diving teams routinely experiencing 50% mortality rates per expedition. These weren't accidents. They were expected sacrifices for recovering valuable cargo. The men who tapped, "Is there any hope?" from their underwater tomb. Now, let's descend to the true deep, where pressure becomes an invisible killer. In 1927, the submarine S-4 collided with a Coast Guard vessel off Massachusetts, sinking in 110 feet of water. Rescue divers reported hearing tapping from inside the hull, using Morse code to communicate with the trapped crew. What they heard next haunts naval historians to this day. Over several days, they tapped increasingly desperate messages, including the haunting final transmission, "Is there any hope?" Bodies eventually recovered revealed the horrific effects of slow death in a failing vessel. As oxygen-depleted carbon dioxide built up, causing blood acidification, tissue breakdown, and eventual organ failure. But here's what the official reports tried to hide. Most disturbing were the brain hemorrhages caused by pressure fluctuations and evidence that some crew members remained conscious for up to 72 hours while experiencing progressive body failure. Records indicate at least one sailor kept a journal describing the sensation as being crushed from within and drowning while still breathing. The man who survived the impossible. In 1983, 4 commercial divers working at 830 feet in the North Sea experienced catastrophic equipment failure. One diver, Chris Lemons, had his umbilical oxygen supply severed and was stranded in near-freezing water with only a 5-minute emergency air supply. What happened next defied all medical understanding. Remarkably, he survived for over 30 minutes in conditions that should have been immediately fatal. When recovered, his body temperature had fallen to 87 degrees Fahrenheit, and he had suffered multiple embolisms from rapid pressure changes. But here's where science had to rewrite the books. His case revealed the extreme cold induced a diving reflex that dramatically slowed his metabolism, preventing brain death despite oxygen deprivation, contradicting everything previously understood about human physiological limits underwater. The medical team expected to retrieve a corpse. Instead, they found something that challenged our entire understanding of human survival. The sailors who were boiled and fossilized in minutes. Finally, we reach the most science-defying ocean mysteries. In 2009, oceanographers investigating hydrothermal vents in the Pacific discovered what looked like mineral formations, but proved to be human bone fragments perfectly preserved and partially mineralized. These remains dated to approximately 400 years ago, coinciding with early Pacific exploration by European vessels. But what they discovered next left even veteran researchers disturbed. Chemical analysis revealed these individuals had fallen into superheated water vents, reaching temperatures over 750 degrees Fahrenheit, instantly boiling flesh from bone. The mineral-rich waters immediately began a preservation process, replacing organic material with minerals, creating essentially fossilized human remains within days, rather than millennia. And historical records revealed this wasn't an isolated incident. Early Spanish and Portuguese expedition records describe sailors consumed by the boiling sea after falling overboard in regions now known to contain major hydrothermal fields. These men didn't just die, they were literally transformed into stone by the ocean itself. The crew that died of pure terror. Perhaps most disturbing is the 1961 disappearance of the Dutch freighter SS Orang Medan. Responding to distress signals, rescuers boarded to find the entire crew dead, their bodies frozen in positions of extreme terror, facial expressions locked in what witnesses described as unspeakable horror, despite no visible injuries. The final radio transmission simply stated, "All officers, including Captain dead, lying in chart room and bridge, possibly entire crew dead, unknown infection, I die." Just when investigators thought they might solve the mystery, before thorough investigation, the ship caught fire and sank, taking most evidence to the depths. Recent scientific analysis suggests the crew encountered a rare deep ocean phenomenon, a methane hydrate bubble eruption that displaced oxygen, creating an invisible, asphyxiant cloud. But here's what makes this case truly nightmarish. Victims would have remained fully conscious while suffocating, aware of their impending doom, but powerless to escape it. Their faces frozen in terror were their final testimony to an invisible killer that struck without warning. The truth about our relationship with the deep. The ocean doesn't care if you're a diver, a king, or a teenage girl. It devours everyone the same way. These brutal deaths have driven our understanding of marine dangers, directly impacting modern ocean exploration. Every horrific demise cataloged by researchers contributes to technologies that now save lives. The same waters that claimed countless victims in unimaginable ways have forced us to develop life-saving innovations in pressure, physics, hypothermia, prevention, and predator behavior prediction. And yet, despite this growing knowledge, our relationship with the ocean remains deeply problematic. As we've seen in the Faroe Islands, the line between victim and perpetrator blurs when humans encounter marine life. The same waters that claim human lives in horrific ways are also theaters for human cruelty, whether through ritual slaughter, commercial exploitation, or environmental destruction. But here's what you need to understand about the ocean that most people never realize. Despite all our technology, our understanding of the deep remains so limited that new deadly phenomena are still being discovered each year. Our exploration of space is actually more advanced than our knowledge of our own deep oceans. So the next time you stand at the edge of the sea, remember you're facing an environment that has perfected killing methods for millions of years before humans ever attempted to conquer it. The ocean doesn't hate us, it simply exists in perfect deadly indifference to our presence. A reality that has claimed countless lives throughout human history and undoubtedly will continue to do so despite our best efforts to survive it. But perhaps what's most terrifying isn't what we know about ocean deaths. It's what remains undiscovered in the crushing darkness below.